everyone, it's Anna, and since it's already November, I thought I would tell you what 5 books I'm planning to read by the end of this year. I've just picked 5 books from my shelves. Most of them are 2018 releases, actually 3 of them are, and 1 book has been on my TBR for quite a few years now, and another one I just want to read because the sequel came out a few months ago. The first book on my TBR for the rest of the year is the book Thieves by America Suzak. This is the book that I've had on my TBR for years now. I bought it back in 2013, 2012, and I still have not read it because I always felt like this is a book to read in the fall or winter time, and by the time January hits, I am not in the mood for it anymore, so I really have to read it before the year ends in order to finally read it this year. This book is a historical fiction that is happening during World War II, and we actually follow the death's perspective. At least that's what I've heard. It's been a while since I've read the synopsis of this book and actually got it, but I keep hearing from a lot of people that they love this book. A lot of people named this book one of their favorites of all time, so I hope this year will finally be the year that I read it. The second book on my TBR is Vicious by V. Schwab. The sequel, Vengeful, came out in September, I think, and I already have the sequel somewhere there, but I still need to read the first book. And again, with this one, a lot of people love it. A lot of people named this book their favorite book of 2014 or 15, whenever it was released. And in this book we follow 2 X-Men-like men who have kind of, I don't want to say superpowers, but something along those lines. And they're both very smart, and I think it starts off with one of them wanting to kill the other one. So it's a book about villains, and I love Victoria Schwab. I love her writing style. I love her story, so I expect the very best from this book, and I really would like to read it this year so that I would be able to pick up the sequel quite soon, because, again, a lot of people seem to love the sequel, and a lot of people have been telling me to finally pick it up, but I first have to read Vicious. The next book is a 2018 release, and I was so excited for it to come out. I was so happy when it finally arrived, but then I didn't pick it up, and then summer began, and I wasn't just feeling like reading a fantasy book, or at least not this one, so maybe now will be the time to pick it up. It's The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. In this world, everyone kind of has a passion, and there are passions like knowledge and art, and I think 5 in total, and our main character does not have a passion. She kind of did not find her one thing yet, and because of that she doesn't get a mentor by the time when everyone is supposed to have one, when suddenly someone does volunteer to be her mentor, but this someone is kind of, I think, like a creepy person. I don't remember, but it sounded very intriguing whenever I pre-ordered it, and I was so happy when it finally arrived, and I really want to read it this year. The next book was also released this year, and it's Dance of Thieves by Mary Pearson. I've read the Remnant Chronicles trilogy this year, all of them. I kind of binge read all of them back to back, and I loved it. The story was great, the characters were amazing, the feeling of those books, the writing style, everything was just perfect. It fit together nicely. And this book is also in the same universe, but we follow different characters. I heard that the main characters of the other 3 books also kind of play a role in here, and they are kind of present in the world. We just follow other main characters, and I just really hope that this will have the same feeling to it as the other 3, because I think that the Remnant Chronicles trilogy will be on my favorites of this year list. So I hope this one will be one of them too. In case you didn't know, the first book of the Remnant Chronicles follows a princess who escapes her own wedding because she doesn't want to marry a prince that she doesn't know of at all. Like, she hasn't met him and she doesn't want to be married off into a forced marriage, basically. So she runs off. And then the prince decides to actually follow her and find out who the princess is that abandoned him. And at the same time, there's an assassin following her because he has the order to kill the princess. And we kind of follow this setup of three people meeting and no one knows who of them is who. Well, of course the men know who the princess is because they've been following her, but we as a reader don't know who the prince is and who is the assassin. And the princess doesn't either. Like, she doesn't even know that there is a prince and an assassin following her. And in the original trilogy, we kind of follow the setup of this world and the developing of it, and it's just the world building was great in this trilogy, and this is why I'm very, very excited to actually return to the world and see where this is going after the events of the trilogy. The last book I really want to read before the year ends is another 2018 release, and it's Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. And this is also one of those books that I've been so excited when they finally turn up at my doorstep and that I still have not picked up. It's quite chunky, and this is probably a reason why I haven't picked it up, because I did have quite a stressful year with university and work and everything. And I felt quite intimidated by big chunky books, and this is one of them, just like the book Thieves and the Dance of Thieves. But I feel like winter, fall is perfect for cozying up with a book. And this is another book that I've heard amazing reviews about, and a lot of people are loving it. And yeah, I just want to read it this year so that I would be ready whenever the sequel is being released, which hopefully will be the next year, because if I will love it just as much as all of my fellow booktubers here, I probably won't be able to wait a long time for the sequel to come out. So that's it. Those are my top 5 books that I still want to read this year. There are actually quite a few more that I want to read, but I thought I would keep it a little bit realistic and only add 5 books to my TBR. I am also currently in the middle of reading like 4 or 5 books again, so I would also have to finish those. So keeping it simple, keeping it realistic. Go ahead and tell me in the comments what books you still want to read before the year ends, and maybe what your favorite book of 2018 is so far. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.